Jane, would you read Mercutio, please? Mike Lake, would you read Romeo? And Matt Braun, would you read Benvolio?
Is love a tender thing? Is it too rough, too rude, too boisterous, and it pricks like a...
If love be rough with you, be rough with love. Love.
My father grossly full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown, his flesh is mad. And how his audit stands, who knows save heaven? But with our circumstance and course of thought, 'tis heavy with it. And am I then revenged to take him in the purging of his soul when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No. Up, sword, and know thou a more horrid end, when he is drunk asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasures of his bed, at gaming, swearing, or about some act that has no relish of salvation in it. Then trick me that his heels may kick at heaven, and that his soul may be as damned and black as hell. Virtue knows. My mother stays, this physique but prolongs thy sickly days.
Doing monologue from The Tempest.
You can't say this, man. Tricula?
Tricula? Tricula. Okay.
Here's neither bush nor shrub to bear off any weather at all. And another storm brewing. Ah, I hear it sing in the wind. Yon same black cloud, yon huge one, looks like the foul bombard that would shed his liquor. If it should thunder as it did before, I knew not where to hide my head. Yon same cloud do not choose but to fall by pailfuls. What have we here? A man or a fish? Dead or alive? Look, a fish. He smells like a fish. I married ancients and fish-like smell. A kind of none of news poor John. A strange fish. Was I in England now as I once was, and had for this fish painted? Not a holiday fool there would you give a piece of silver. There would this monster makes a man. There, any strange beast makes a man. There would this monster make a man. When they will not give a doit to relieve a lame beggar, they will choose to lay out 10 to see a dead Indian. Legged like a man. And thins like arms, warm on my throat. I do not let loose my opinion, hold it no longer. This is no fish, but an islander that hath lately suffered by a thunderbolt. Oh, alas, the storm has come again. My best way is to creep under his grave again. There is no other shelter here about. I shall wait till the storm is past.
From Act 2, Scene 3, or the other way around, whichever it was. I don't remember exactly, but I do much wonder, seeing that one man, when he turned himself to love, will, after he had laughed at such shallow follies, become the argument of his own scorn by falling in love. And such a man is Claudio. I have known when there were no music with him, but the drum and the fife. And now, had he rather hear the tabor and the pipe? I have known when he would have walked 10 miles afoot to see a good armor. And now will he lie 10 nights awake, craving the fashion of a new doublet? He was wont to speak plain to the purpose, like an honest man and a soldier. Now is he turned orthography? His very words a fantastical banquet, just so many strange dishes. Will I be so plain with these eyes and see? I cannot tell, I think not. I will not be sworn, but love may transform me to an oyster. But I'll take my oath on it. Till he hath made an oyster of me, you should never make me such a fool. One whom is fair, yet I am well. Another is wise, yet I am well. Another virtuous, yet I am well. But she'll all graces be in one woman. One woman shall not come in my grace. Rich shall be, that's for certain. Wise or I'll none. Virtuous or I'll never cheapen her. Fair or come not near me. Mild or not. Mild or noble or not I for an angel. Of good discourse, an excellent musician, and her hair shall be of what color pleases God. The Prince and Monsieur Love. I would hide me in the arbor.
So now it's, we're finishing the scene. It's a full show. You planned this. Okay. This can be no trick. The conference was sadly born. They have the truth of this from Hero. They seem to pity the lady. It seems that her affections leave them full bent. Love me. Why? It must be requited. I hear how I am censured. They say that I will bear myself proudly if I perceive that the love come from her. But they also say that she will rather die than give any signs of affection. I did never think to marry. I must not seem proud. Ha! Happy are those that hear their detractions and can put them to mending. They say she is a fair lady. 'Tis a truth. I can bear them witness. Virtuous, 'tis so. I cannot reprove it. Wise. But for loving me, by my troth, this is no addition to her wit, nor no great argument to her folly, for I will be horribly in love with her. I may chance have some quirks and remnants of wit broken onto me because I did so long rail against marriage. But does the appetite not alter? The man loves the meat in his youth that he cannot endure in his age. Shall these quips and sentences and paper bullets of the brain awe a man's career to his humor? No! The world must be peopled! When I said I would die a bachelor, I did not think that I should live to be married. Here comes Beatrice. By this day, she is a fair lady. I do spy some marks of love in her.
That's what I said to Bob when I first walked in. Shano!
Oh, snap. My name is Shane Suspankowski. I am doing a monologue by Lance from Two Gentlemen of Verona. I don't know the scene or the act, but I need you all to pretend that I need you all to pretend that I have a dog next to me, because I could not bring in a dog.
Do you want me to come to your dog?
No.
That's a hairy dog.
Everyone ready?
Ready.
Alright, sorry. When a man's servant shall play the cud, look you, it goes hard. One that I brought up of a puppy, one that I saved from drowning when 3 or 4 of his brothers went to it. I have taught him, even as one should say precisely thus I would teach a dog. I was sent to deliver him as a present to Mistress Sylvia from my master, and I enter no sooner into the dining chamber, but he steps me to her trencher and steals her captain's leg. Oh, 'tis a foul thing when a cur cannot keep himself in all companies. Keep himself in all companies. Nay, I'll be sworn, if I had not had more wit than he to take fault upon me that he had, surely he had been hanged for it. As sure as I lived, he would have been executed. You shall judge. He thrust me himself into the company of 3 or 4 gentlemen-like dogs under the Duke's table. He had not been there, bless the mark, a pissing while. The whole chamber smelt him. Out with the dogs, says one. What care is that, says another. Whip him out, says the third. Hang him up, says the Duke. I, having been acquainted with the smell before, knew it was crab. So goes I to the fellow that whips the dog. Friend, quoth I, you mean to whip the dog? I marry do I. Quoth he, you do him the more wrong, quoth I. 'Twas I that did the thing you ought of. He does me no more ado, but whips me out of the chamber. How many masters would do this for his servant? Nay, I'll be sworn I have sat in the stocks for pudding he hath stolen, but otherwise he would have been executed. I have stood in the pillar for geese he had killed, but otherwise he would have suffered for it. Thou thinkest not of this now. Nay, I remember the trick you served me when I took my leave of Madam Sylvia. Did not I bid thee still mock me and do as I do? Didst thou ever see me heave up my leg and make water against a gentlewoman's farthingale? Didst thou ever see me do such a trick?
Claudia DiMartino?
Is this your extra one?
Yes. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
My name is Claudia Bricknell, and my monologue is from King Richard III, Act 1, Scene 3, with Queen Margaret. What were you snarling all before I came? Ready to catch each other by the throat and turn your hatred on me now? Did York's dread curse prevail so much with heaven that Henry's death, my lovely Edward's death, could all but answer for that peevish brat? Can curses pierce the clouds and enter heaven? Why then give way, dull clouds, to my quick curses. Thou art not by war, but by surfeit die your king, and ours by murder to make him a king. Long mayest thou live to wail thy children's loss, decked in thine rights as thou art stoled in mine. Long die thy happy days before thy death, and after many lengthened hours of grief, die neither mother, wife, nor England's queen. Rivers endorse us where you standards by. And so what thou, Lord Hastings, when my son was stabbed with bloody daggers? God, I pray him, that none of you may live to your natural age, but by some unlooked accident cut off. Thank you.
Help me on the last name on that one.
Matt Cooper.
Matt Cooper.
I'm Cooper. I'm doing Bottom/Pyramus's Death from Midsummer Night's Dream. Oh, wherefore, nature, didst thou lion's frame? Since lion vile here hath deflowered my dear, which is, which was the fairest dame that lived, that loved, that liked, that looked with cheer. Come, tears, confound! Out sword and wound! Out sword and wound! Ah! The path of Pyramus! I that left path where thus I die! Thus! Now am I dead! Now am I fled! My soul is in the sky! Tongue, take thy flight! Or tongue, lose thy light! Moonshine, take thy flight! Now die! 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 Die!
Jennifer Anderson.
Hi, my name is Jen. I'm doing a scene from Hamlet. I forgot exactly which one. Love, his affections do not that way tend. Was not like madness. He sit.
Jen, do you need to sit down a while and start again?
This is my first audition, so I'm not.
Why don't you sit down and we'll call you back.
James Lyons.
Can I get one of those forms for Jocelyn so she can photo?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do we have more?
I can't.
All right, my name is James Lyons. Yes. I am doing the opening monologue to Richard III, because I think gnarly. Anyway. What? Okay. Now is the winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by this son of York, and all the clouds that lulled upon our house in the deep bosom of the ocean buried. Now our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung up for monuments, our stern alarms changed to merry meetings, our dreadful marches to delightful measures. But instead of mounting barbed steeds, to fright the souls of fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly into a lady's chamber, to lascivious pleasings of a lute. Why, but I, who am not shaped for such sportive tricks, nor made to court an amorous looking-glass, I that am rudely stamped, and want love's majesty to strut before a wanton ambling nymph. I that am curtailed of this fair proportion, and cheated of feature by dissembling nature. I'm that cheated of feature by dissembling nature, and so lamely and unfashionably that dogs bark at me as I halt by them. Why, I, in this time of peace, have no delight to pass away the time. And since I cannot prove a lover to entertain these days, I am determined to prove a villain, and hate the idle pleasure of these days. Plots have I laid, inductions dangerous, to set my brother Clarence and King Edward in deadly hate, one against the other. And if King Edward be as true and just as I am subtle, false and treacherous, then this day Clarence should be closely mewed up by a prophecy which says that G of Edward's heirs, the murderer shall be.
Meyer? Meyer?
Oh, Kevin. Stephanie Meyer.
Stephanie Meyer?
Meyer?
Oh my gosh.
Well, she got Hello, I'm Stephanie Meyer, and I will be doing Shakespeare's sonnet number 71. Do not mourn me when I am dead. Then you shall hear the silly sullen bell give warning to the world that I am fled. From this vile world to vilest worms to dwell. Nay, if you read this line, remember not the hand that writ it, for I love you so, that I and your sweet thoughts would be forgot. If thinking on me then should make you woe, or if I say you look upon this verse, when I perhaps compounded am with clay, do not so much as my poor name rehearse. Do not so much as my poor name rehearse. But let my life, but let your love even with my life decay. Lest the wise world should look into your moan and mock you with me after I am gone.
I got sunshine.
Ruthman.
When it's cold outside.
I got a mother name. My name is Ruth. This is also my preposition. I'm doing Puck's opening monologue from A Midsummer's Night's Dream, Act 2, and here we go. Fairy, thou speakest so right. I am the merry wanderer of the night. I just to Ormond and make him smile, when I, a fat and bean-fed horse, beguile. Neighing in the likeness of a filly foal, and sometimes lurk I in the gossip's bowl. And when she drink, gets in very likeness of a roasty crab. And when she drink, gets treated by the heart. And on her wizard do that, poor yam. And sometimes for 3-foot stool mistaketh me. And when I slip from her bum, down topple she. And tell her cry and fall into a cough. And the whole choir hold their hips and off. And wax in their mirth and knees and swear a merrier hour was never wasted there. Your room, fairy, here comes Oberon.
Blow winds and crack your cheeks. Rage, blow, you hurricanes and cataracts spout, till you've drenched our steeples, drowned the cocks. You sulphurous thought, executing fires, vaunt couriers to oak-cleaving thunderbolts, singe my white head. Pardon. Singe my, and thou all-shaking thunder smite flat the thick rotundity of the world. Crack nature's molds, all Germans spill out that make ingrateful man. Rumble thy belly full, spit, fire, spout, rain. Nor rain, wind, thunder, fire are my daughters. I tax not you, you elements, with unkindness. I never gave you kingdom, called you children. You owe me no subscription, then let fall thy horrible pleasures. I stand here your slave, a poor, infirm, sick, despised old man, and yet I call you servile ministers that have with two pernicious daughters joined in high engendered battles gainst a head so old and white as this. Oh, 'tis foul.
Hello, all of you. I'm Jocelyn, and I will be doing Portia's monologue from Act 3 of The Merchant of Venice. The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as gentle rain from heaven above upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. It blesseth him that gives and him that takes. 'Tis mightiest in the mightiest. It becomes the throned monarch better than his crown. His scepter is the force of temporal power, the attribute of awe and majesty.
Thus is his cheek the map of days outworn, when beauty lived and died as flowers do now. Before these bastard signs of fair were born, or durst inhabit on a living brow. Before the golden tresses of the dead, right of sepulchres, were shorn away to live a second life on second hand. Their beauty's dead fleas made another gay. In him, these holy antique hours are seen, without all ornament, itself and true, making no summer of another's green, robbing no old to dress his beauty new. In him as for a map doth nature store, to show false art what beauty was of yore.
Hi, I'm Victoria Fentowski.
Whoa!
And I will be performing for you from A Midsummer Night's Dream, Helena's ending monologue of Act 1, Scene 1. How happy some or others some can be. Through Athens I am thought as fair as she. But what of that? Demetrius thinks not so. He will not know what all but he do know. And as he errs, doting on Hermia's eyes, so I, admiring of his qualities, things base and vile, holding no quantity, love can transpose to form and dignity. Love looks not with the eyes, but with the mind, and therefore is winged Cupid painted blind. Nor hath love's mind of any judgment taste, wings and no eyes figure unheedy haste. Therefore is love said to be a child, because in choice he is so oft beguiled. As waggish boys in game themselves forswear, so the boy love is perjured everywhere. For ere Demetrius looked on Hermia's eye, he hailed down oaths that he was only mine. But when this hail some heat from Hermia felt, so he dissolved, the showers of oaths did melt. I will go tell him of fair Hermia's flight, and to the wood will he tomorrow night pursue her. And with this intelligence, if I have thanks, is a dear expense. For herein mean I to enrich my pain, to have his sight thither and back again.
Thank you.
Mike Lake.
Of course, we go back to back.
Hey. Don't hang. We gotta keep them all together. We try to
Only two that are left.
Well,
don't cough up a lot.
Hello.
I am Mike Lake, and I will be doing a scene from one of Shakespeare's less known plays, Timon of Athens. I will be performing as Timon in this scene. Timon has just exiled himself after being a very wealthy man most of his life, and is now living in a cave digging for roots to eat. Nature, being sick of man's unkindness, should yet be hungry. Common mother, whom thou womb is unmeasurable, and breast infinite, teems and feeds all. Those same metal though that thine proud child, arrogant man, is puffed of. The black toad, the adder blue, the gilded newt, the blind venomed worm, all abhorred birth below crisp heaven, whereon Hyperion's quickening fire doth shine. Yield him who all of your human sons doth hate. From forth thy plenteous bosom, one poor root. Go great with tiger and wolf and bear, and snare that fertile and conceptuous womb. Let it no more be out an honest man. Oh root, to your thanks. I am sick of this false world, and I will love not but the mere necessity upon it. Thus, Timon, presently, prepare your grave. Lie where the light foam from the sea will beat against your tombstone daily. Prepare your epitaph. My life in death, at other lives may laugh. See.
Scope out each other. Come on, this is, you know how life is around here. Now, what I have here are audition books. And I'm going to put them up here. After you do a scene, would you return the book to the table? Each one of these books has 10 scenes in it. So don't shred them, don't spread them apart. There's no more than 2 or 3 people in a scene. But it's so that we can just pick them up, and I'll tell you what number it is, and I'll plug people in and out, and I want to go quickly because I really do have to be out of here in less than an hour. So these are not long scenes. They're fairly normal. There's no huge long speeches in here. It's all dialogue with other characters. I've taken, and all the high moments, big ass speeches are not in here. Okay?
Sweet.
None of the. There is no "Oh Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo" at all in here. Okay? I'm going to start calling this. Phil Beattie reading Benvolio, Ryan Glynn reading Romeo. I also want the following people to read. They're right there. I want to see Cooper reading Benvolio, Shane reading Romeo, and I want to see Matt Braun reading Benvolio and Mike Lake reading Romeo.
Something is about race, right?
And just do me a favor after the first one, if you could just tell me who you are so I remember, because I won't otherwise.
But I will. Okay, this is Ryan Glynn playing Romeo.
Got that one.
Okay.
Don't do that.
No, it's not.
This is early at the beginning where, I'm assuming you've all read the play, but this is where Romeo is mourning for Rosaline. And Benvolio is trying to deal with the brat.
Thank you. From where do you want to?
I'd like you to start on line, sorry, I better keep one of these, I guess. I want you to start on line 186 and go until 219.
So, I will go along. And if you leave me so, you do me wrong.
Tut, I've lost myself. I'm not here. This is not Romeo. He's some otherwhere.
Tell me in sadness, who is that you love?
What shall I groan and tell thee?
Groan why? No, but sadly tell me who.
A sick man in sadness makes his will. A word ill urged to one that is so ill. In sadness, cousin, I do love a woman.
I am aimed so near when I supposed you love.
A right good markman, and she's fair, I love.
A right fair mark, fair cuz, is soonest hit.
Well, in that hit you missed. She'll not be hit with Cupid's arrow. She hath Dian's wit, and in strong proof of chastity well armed. From love's weak childish bow she lives uncharmed. She will not stay the siege of loving terms, nor bide the encounter of assailing eyes, nor ope her lap to saints seducing gold. Oh, she is rich in beauty, only poor, that when she dies, with beauty dies her store.
Then she hath sworn that she will stay thy chastity.
She hath, and in that sparring makes huge waste, for beauty starved with her severity cuts beauty off from all posterity. She is too fair, too wise, wisely too fair, to merit bliss by making me despair. She hath forsworn to love, and in that vow do I live dead, and live to tell it now.
Be ruled by me, forget to think of her.
Oh, teach me how I should forget to think.
By giving liberty unto thine eyes, examine other beauties.
Thank you.
Oh, that sounds simple.
What do you got here?
This is Mr. Cooper, and this is Cooper reading Benvolio, and Shane reading Romeo.
Yeah. Soft, I will go along. And if you leave me so, you do me wrong.
But I have lost myself. I am not here. This is not Romeo. He's some other where.
Oh, tell me in sadness, who is it that you love?
What shall I groan and tell thee?
Groan, I know, but sadly tell me who.
A sick man in sadness makes his will. A word ill urged to one that is so ill. In sadness, cousin, I do love a woman.
I am so near what I supposed you loved.
A right good markman, and she's fair I love.
A right fair mark, fair cuz, as soon as hit.
Well, in that hit you miss, so she'll not be hit with Cupid's arrow. She hath Dian's wit, and in strong proof of chastity well armed. From love's weak childish bow she lives uncharmed. She will not stay the siege of loving terms, nor bide the encounter of assailing eyes, nor awkward lap to saint seducing gold. Oh, she is rich in beauty, only poor that when she dies, with beauty dies her store.
Then she hath sworn that she will live chaste?
She hath, and in that sparing makes huge waste. For beauty, starved with her severity, cuts beauty off from all posterity. She is too fair, too wise, wisely too fair, to merit bliss by making me despair. She hath forsworn to love, and in that vow do I live dead, and that live to tell it now.
Be ruled by me. Forget to think of her.
Oh, teach me how I should forget to think.
Be giving liberty unto thine eyes. Examine other beauties.
Thank you, gentlemen. Romeo and Juliet Grande.
Wait, what? Did I miss I am so glad that he's reading for Juliet right now.
Matt brought my
sup, I will go along. And if you leave me, you do me wrong.
Tut. I have lost myself. I am not here. This is not Romeo. Romeo is... Where is I? This is not Romeo. He's some otherwhere.
Sadness. Who is it that you love?
What shall I groan and tell thee?
Groan? Why no. Sadly, tell me who.
A sick man in sadness makes his will. A word ill urged to one that is so ill. In sadness, cousin. I do love a woman.
I am so near what I supposed to love.
A right good marksman. Or sorry, I'm aimed so near when I... No, I was right. Good marksman, and she's fair I loved.
A right fair mark. Fair cuz is soon to hit.
Well, in that your hit miss, she'll not be hit with Cupid's arrow. She hath Diane's wit, and in strong proof of chastity well armed. From love's weak, childish bow, she lives uncharmed. She will not stay the siege of loving terms, nor bide the encounter of assailing eyes, nor ope her laugh to saint seducing. Nor, oh, she is rich in beauty, only poor, that when she dies, the beauty dies restored.
Then she hath sworn that she will still live chaste.
She hath, and in that sparing makes huge waste, for beauty starved with her severity, cuts beauty off from all posterity. She is too fair, too wise, wisely too fair, to merit bliss by making me despair. She hath forsworn to love, and in that vow do I live dead that live, tell me it now.
Be ruled by me. Forget to think of her.
Wow!
By giving liberty into thine eyes, examine other beauties.
Scene 2, I would like to see the following people. Scene 2, it's Juliet, the nurse, and Capulet's wife. I would like to see the following scenes. Claudia DiMartino reading Juliet, Justine Grimley reading Capulet's wife, and Shane Suspenkowski reading the nurse. I will set up more of these as I go. I also want to see Alicia Ennis doing Juliet, Ryan Glynn doing Romeo, and Mike Lake, would you read the nurse for me?
Oh, yeah.
Wife and Juliet. I'm sorry, Ryan Glynn, I fucked up.
Did you say me for like...
No, just out.
She did say it, but you can sit back.
I lied.
Bye,
everybody. Capulet's wife, Vicky, would you read Capulet's wife?
Sure.
Thank you. I would like you to start. With peace I have done, and we go to Juliet's line, then your consent gives strength to make it fly, right before enter serving man on the next page. Now, any man who's reading the nurse has to realize that we are not doing drag. Whether you're in a dress or not, this is not drag.
Oh, am I starting the scene? Peace I have done, God mock thee to his grace. Thou wast the prettiest babe that e'er I nursed, and I might live to see thee married once. I have my wish.
Mary is the very theme I came to talk of. Tell me, daughter Juliet, how stands your disposition to be married?
It is an hour that I dream not of.
An hour were not I thine only nurse, I would say thou had sought wisdom from thy Tito.
Well, think of marriage now, younger than you. Here in Verona, ladies of esteem are made already, mothers by my count. That you are now a maid, thus then in brief, the valiant Paris seeks you for his love.
A man, young lady, such a man is all the world. Why, he's a man of wax.
Verona's summer hath not such a flower.
Nay, he's a flower, in faith, a very flower.
What say you? Can you love the gentleman? This night you shall behold him at our feast. Read over the volume of young Paris's face and find delight right there with beauty's pen. Examine every married lineament and see how one another lends content. And what obscured in this fair volume lies, find written in the margin of his eyes. This precious book of love, this unbound lover, to beautify him only lacks a cover. The fish lives in the sea, and 'tis much pride, for fair without the fair within to hide. The book in many's eyes doth share the glory that in gold clasps lock in the golden story. So shall you share all that he doth possesses, by having him marking yourself no less.
No less, nay, bigger. Women grow by men.
Speak briefly. Can you like of Paris's love?
I'll look to like it, looking like move, but no more deep will I endart mine eye, than your consent gives strength to make it fly.
And deserving men.
Thank you. Next to it, please.
Peace I have done, God mark thee to his grace. Thou wast the prettiest babe that e'er I nursed, and I might live to see their married once. I have my wish.
Mary. That Mary is the very theme I came to talk of. Tell me, daughter Juliet, how stands your disposition to be married?
It is an hour I dream not of.
An hour, were I not thine only nurse, I would say thou hast sucked wisdom from thy teat.
Well, think of marriage now. Younger than you here in Verona, ladies of esteem, are made already mothers by my count. I was your mother much upon these years, that you are now a maid. Thus then, in brief, the valiant Paris seeks you for his love.
A man, young lady, such a man as all the world.
Verona's summer hath not such a flower.
Oh, nay, he's a flower in faith, a very flower.
What say you? Can you love the gentleman? This night you shall behold him at our feast. Read o'er the volume of young Paris' face, and find delight writ there with beauty's pen. Examine every married lineament, and see how one another lends content. And what obscured in this fair volume lies, find written in the margin of his eyes. This precious book of love, this unbound lover, to beautify him only lacks a cover. The fish lives in the sea, and 'tis much pride, for fair without the fair within to hide. That book in many's eyes doth share the glory, that in gold clasps locks in the golden story. So shall you share all that he doth possess, by having him making yourself no less.
No less, nay, bigger. Women grow by men.
Speak briefly. Speak briefly. Can you like a Paris's love?
I'll look to like, if liking move, but not more deep than I will endart mine eye, that your consent gives strength to make it fly.
Interesting. That
is no fair,
Mike. Peace, I have done. God mark thee to his grace. Thou wast the prettiest babe that e'er I nursed. I might live to see thee married once I have my wish.
Mary, that is the very theme I came to talk of. Tell me, daughter Juliet, how stands your disposition to be married?
It is an hour I dream not of.
An hour were not I thine only nurse. I would say thou hast sucked wisdom from thy teat.
Think of marriage now. Younger than you. Here in Verona, ladies of esteem are made mothers by my count. I was your mother upon these years, that you are now a maid. Thus then, in brief, the valiant Paris seeks for you his love.
A man, young lady. Lady, such a man as all the world. Why, he's a man of wax.
Verona summer, not such a flower.
Nay, he's a flower in faith, a very flower.
What say you? Can you love this gentleman? This night you shall behold him at our feast. Read o'er the volume of young Paris's face, and find delight writ there with beauty's pen. Examine every married lineament, and see how one lends comfort, and what obscured in this fair volume lies. Find written in the margin of his eyes this precious book of love, this unbound lover, to beautify him only lacks a cover. The fish lives in the sea, and 'tis much pride, for fair without the fair within to hide. That book in many's eyes doth share the glory, that in gold clasps locks in the merry story. So shall thee share all that doth he possess, by having him making thee no less.
No less, nay, bigger. Women grow by men.
Speak briefly. You like a Paris as well?
I'll look to like, if looking liking move, but no more deep will I endart mine eye, than your consent gives me strength to fly.
Enter serving man.
You burthen love to great oppression for a tender thing.
Is love a tender thing? Is it too rough, too rude, too boisterous, and it pricks like a...
If love be rough with you, be rough with love. Prick love for pricking, and you beat love down. Give me a case to put my visage in, a visor for a visor. What care I? What curious eye doth the deformities? Here are the beetle's brows, shall blush for me.
Come knock and enter, and no sooner in, but every man betake him to his place.
A torch for me. Let wantons light of heart tickle the senseless rushes with their heels. For I am proverb with a grandsire phrase. I'll be a candle holder and look on. The game was ne'er so fair, and I'm done.
Ta duns the mouse, the constable's own word. If thou art done, we'll draw thee from the mire of save you, reverence love, wherein thou stickest up to the ears. Come, we burn daylight. Ho!
Nay, that's not so.
I mean, sir, in delay we waste our lights in vain like lamps by day. Take our good meaning, for our judgment sits 5 times in that air once in our 5 wits.
And we mean well in going to this mask, but 'tis no wit to go.
Oh, why may one ask?
I dreamt a dream tonight.
And so did I.
And well, what was yours?
That dreamers often lie.
In bed while they do dream of things true.
Oh, I see. Queen Mab hath been with you.
Damn! All right. Gentlemen, please read Mercutio, Mr. Lake. Please read Romeo, Mr. Suspenkoski.
He said, I'll be with Romeo. All right, start, Horatio.
Okay. And to sink in it, should you burden love, too great oppression for
Is love a tender thing? It is too rough, too rude, too boisterous. It pricks like a thorn.
If love be rough with you, you be rough. Be rough with love. Pick love for pricking, and you beat love down. Give me a case to put my visage in. A visor for a visor, and what care I? What curious eye doth coat deformities? Here are the beetle brows shall blush for me.
Come knock and enter, and no sooner in, but every man betake him to his legs.
A torch for me, let wanton light of heart tickle the senseless rushes with their heels, for I am proverbed by the grand desire phrase. I'll be a candle holder and look on. The game was ne'er so fair, and I am done.
Tut duns the mouse, the constable's own word. If thou art done, we'll draw thee from the mire of save you, reverence love, wherein thou stickest up the ears. Wherein thou stickest up to the ears. Come on, come, we burn daylight, ho!
Nay, that's not so.
I mean, sir, in delay. We waste our lights in vain, like lamps by day. Take our good meaning, for our judgment sits 5 times in that air once in our 5 wits.
And we mean well in going to the mask, but 'tis no wit to go.
Why, may one ask?
Oh, I dreamt a dream last night.
And so did I.
Well, what was yours?
That dreamers often lie.
In bed asleep while they do dream things true.
Oh, then I see Queen Mab hath been with you.
Now by the stock and honor of my kin, to strike him dead I hold it not a sin.
Why, how now, kinsman, wherefore storm you so?
Uncle, this is a Montague, our foe, a villain that is hither come in spite to scorn at our solemnity this night.
Romeo, is it?
'Tis he, that villain Romeo.
Content be, gentle cause, let him alone. Bears him like a portly gentleman, and to say truth, Verona brags of him to be a virtuous and well-governed youth. I would not for the wealth of all this town, here in my house, do him disparagement. Therefore be patient, take no note of him. It is my will that which, if thou respect, show a fair presence, and put off these frowns, an ill-beseeming semblance for a feast.
It fits when such a villain is a guest. I'll not endure it.
He shall be endured. What, good man, boy, I say he shall. Go to! I am the master here, or you? Go to! Will not endure him? God shall mend my soul. You'll make a mutiny among my guests. You will set a cock-a-hoop. You'll be the man.
Why, uncle, 'tis a shame.
Go to! Go to! You are a saucy boy. It's so indeed. This trick may chance to scathe you. I know what you must contrary me. Marry, 'tis time. Well said, my heart. You are a princox. Go! Be quiet, or more light for shame. I'll make you quiet. What? Oh, chilly my heart.
Thank you all. That's it for today. Oh my God.